Closing the Sale: 5 Sales Skills to Achieving a Win-Win by Craig Christensen, Sean Frontz, and Dennis Susa. Narrated by Seth Podowitz. Preface. In the 25 years since my father, Dr. Stephen R. Covey, published his best-selling book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the company he co-founded, now Franklin Covey, has become known worldwide for teaching enduring principles of leadership and personal effectiveness that have transformed individuals and organizations alike. True to that mission, the book you're listening to provides powerful sales insight from Franklin Covey's sales performance practice. Quite simply, it guides you in increasing your own sales success by helping your clients succeed. Craig Christensen, Sean Frontz, and Dennis Susa are superb guides, and this approach is time-tested and based on principles that have underpinned the success of both business leaders and top sales performers around the world. It has been organized into a form that is simultaneously insightful and yet immensely practical and useful for both sales leaders and sales professionals alike. When individuals and sales teams have consistently applied the mindset and skill set taught in this wonderful book, they have dramatically improved their ability to close sales more effectively, more frequently, and with increased predictability. Most important, the professionals who've embraced this foundational principle have distinguished themselves as leaders within their sales organizations, top performers who create the conditions for good business decisions and win-win outcomes for themselves and their clients, the essence of truly sustainable success. Such sales professionals come to be seen as models of how to truly help clients succeed and, ultimately, become mentors as they help others learn how to do the same. Through this inside-out approach, these influential professionals and leaders help to build an underlying sales culture within the organization based upon this simple but powerful principle of helping clients succeed. Such a culture is ultimately transformative to the relationships of all involved, for the sales professional, for the sales organization, and especially for the clients it serves. The end result is the creation of more value, more success, more trust, and more sales, which then repeats itself, becoming a virtuous upward cycle. This book will help you initiate this ascending cycle. Stephen M. R. Covey, the New York Times best-selling author of The Speed of Trust. By the end of this book, you'll learn how to transform every client interaction into a decision-making opportunity, navigate and influence the decision-making process with more precision and success, create decision velocity for your clients, shortening your sales cycle, use understanding and logic to resolve objections, improve your win rate by improving outcomes for your clients. The paradox. What you will learn in this chapter. The more you focus on creating success for your clients, the more successful you will be. If you consistently apply the mindset and skill set in this book, you will increase your win rate. What we've learned. In 25 years of research and experience with more than 36,000 sales professionals and managers on every continent, we found one dominant mindset to be common among the 5%ers, or the top 5% of the profession. The mindset seems counterintuitive to success. We call it the paradox of success. The more passionately and skillfully you focus on creating success for your clients, the more successful you will be. The volume of information available today through multiple sources has dramatically changed the buyer-seller relationship. It has empowered buyers and has diminished their reliance on sellers as information providers. This influences how they interact with sellers and has changed their expectations of what sellers should provide. Buyers now expect that sellers shift from a traditional sales role to a trusted advisor, moving away from creating dependency to creating value and fostering relationships of trust. Increasing your own success by focusing on the success of others isn't about wishful thinking or taking an enlightened approach to selling, but rather a practical reality based on the necessity of creating relationships of trust and mutual value. Our entire sales performance practice has been built on the application of this extraordinary principle. And this principle couldn't be more relevant than during the closing in sales. Countless salespeople have been trained to think of closing as an event, a single meeting, presentation, or point in time where you either win or you lose. In this book, we will share a different perspective on closing and offer a new way of thinking about your role as a sales professional. We'll also share 5 essential skills you can learn and master to ensure that your clients and you succeed. We believe that a tangible measurement of progress is essential. That is why this book is not a book about theory. It is about practical application and tools you can use immediately to gauge your success. In other words, your closing ratio or win rate. Although win rate may be defined very differently from company to company, we measure win rate by dividing the number of wins by the number of opportunities pursued. The question for you is, what would you be willing to do in the coming days and weeks to improve it? Continue on for the 5 skills and tools you can apply. It's our belief that if you focus on creating success for your clients and commit to the practice of the mindset and skill set presented in the pages that follow, you will improve your ability to close sales more frequently and with more consistency and comfort. Win rate equals number of wins over number of opportunities pursued. Your role. What you will learn in this chapter. Closing is a process, not an event. The closing zone is a series of incremental decisions the client makes to get to a final business decision. Your role is to influence good decisions to achieve win-win outcomes. What does closing mean? Closing means different things to different people. What does it mean to you? For some, closing is a technique, a collection of things you do and say to push a client into signing on the dotted line. For others, it's a verb, commanding you to do something to someone rather than with someone. And for others, the word signifies the onset of a negotiation. Most commonly, people tend to think of closing as an event, or the moment when the client formally commits to making a final business decision, first verbally and then on paper. Instead, we'd suggest that closing is the process of successful decision-making that has happened long before the day the contract is awarded or inked. And often a successful close is the direct result of how the salesperson has or hasn't added value to the decision-making process along the way. The closing zone. We refer to the final 20% of the overall sales cycle as the closing zone. It includes a series of incremental decisions the client makes in order to reach the final business decision. When you move into this particular phase of the sales cycle, there are distinct and recognizable shifts in buyer behavior that let you know you've arrived. Not surprisingly, these shifts in client behavior will likely require you to respond in kind. The way you choose to respond in this critical selling stage will often be the difference between success and failure. If you think of a sales cycle as you would a courtship, it may give you a clearer sense of what to expect. In the early stage of dating, it's quite common to meet and interact with many people. The attention is often not exclusive and is typically centered on some objective criteria that might help you prioritize what you find appealing in a partner: appearance, employment status, interests, etc., and assist you in narrowing the field of potential partners from many to a few. By contrast, in the later stages of courtship, the emphasis shifts from basic attributes, requirements, to more subjective criteria to ensure that the right partner is selected and is capable of upholding the commitments made, serving to narrow the few to the one. When prospective clients enter the closing zone, you'll start to see